the fashion, and of course the gastronomy. I'm excited to learn about the history. Where are we going to start?
We could start from here.
Eva Longoria, Searching for France, Sunday at 9 on CNN and next day on the CNN app.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now and we'll come to you.
800-821-4000.
All right. Thanks to my panel. Really appreciate all of you being here. Thanks to all of you at home for watching as well. Do not go anywhere because the one and only Jake Tapper is standing by for the lead.
Wow.
Hi, Jake.
One and only. Nice. All right.
There's only one of you.
I'll take it. I think. Casey, we'll look for more tomorrow in the arena.
See you soon.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper, and we're going to start with breaking news in our world lead. The 2-week ceasefire between the U.S., Israel, and Iran launched last night, but the vice president calls fragile. Today, Iranian state media reports that Iran has stopped oil tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, despite having agreed to open the strait. That's because, Iran says, after the ceasefire went into effect yesterday, Israel began carrying out what that country calls the largest strikes on Lebanon since the start of the war. Israel is going after an Iranian-backed militia in Lebanon, one called Hezbollah. President Trump told PBS that the strikes in Lebanon are a separate skirmish and that Lebanon was not included in the 2-week ceasefire. Iran disagrees. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked today about the reports that the Straits of Hormuz remain closed.
The president was made aware of those reports before I came to the podium. That is completely unacceptable. We have seen an uptick of traffic in the Strait today, and I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely. That is his expectation. It has been relayed to him privately that is what's taking place, and these reports publicly are false.
The White House said that negotiations will continue over these next 2 weeks as long as the Strait of Hormuz remains open. There are lots of questions that remain over the terms of the ceasefire and what comes next. So over the next 2 hours, we're going to try to get answers for some of these questions. Just a few of them include, what does the ceasefire say, if anything, about Iran's nuclear enrichment? What is the status of the Strait of Hormuz? Are ships confident that they'll be safe if they go through? Is Iran going to be demanding a toll? What is the status of sanctions against Iran or against Russia? What is the status of Iran as a regional power now? And Iran's abilities regarding proxies in Gaza, Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. And are the Israelis really on board with what Trump has agreed to? Here's another question. In the midst of these major earth-shaking issues surrounding the ceasefire last night, life and death issues, why was President Trump so focused on attacking CNN for an accurate report we put out on a real statement put out by Iranian government officials? Maybe you missed this last night. You were sleeping, not sure. Shortly after the ceasefire was announced, Iranian state media read a statement from Iran's Supreme National Security Council. That's the country's highest military body. That statement spun the ceasefire. They claimed Iran had achieved victory, forcing the U.S. to accept its 10-point plan. It said in part, quote, "The enemy in its unfair, unlawful, and criminal war against the Iranian nation has suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat," unquote. CNN reported that statement online, real time. There was also a separate, more measured statement from Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs, which CNN published as well. At 7:42 p.m. Eastern, President Trump posted that second statement, which basically said Iran would cease their attacks if attacks against Iran stopped, and then they would reopen the Strait of Hormuz for 2 weeks. But President Trump apparently did not like that first statement that we reported on, the one from Iran's Supreme National Security Council. So at 8:01 p.m. Eastern, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, "The alleged statement put out by CNN World News is a fraud. As CNN well knows, the false statement was linked to a fake news site from Nigeria. Authorities are looking to determine whether or not a crime was committed on the issuance of the fake CNN World statement, or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw the statement with full apologies for their, as usual, terrible reporting," unquote. Before I go on, let me just say, none of that is true. None of that is accurate. Then, Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr tweeted, quote, Iran put out an official statement that simply cannot be squared with the one CNN's false headline attributes to them. Time for change at CNN, unquote. Hold that thought on Brendan Carr's statement. By 11:39 p.m., President Trump still not over it, claiming that CNN invented the statement. Not true. And wrote, quote, "It was totally made up and posted as a headline for purpose of perhaps inflaming a very delicate situation. CNN just got caught cheating, a very dangerous thing to do," unquote. Again, none of that's true. None of that's factual. None of that's accurate. Here's what actually happened. Iranian officials made that first statement. It was reported on multiple Iranian state media outlets and by other news outlets all over the world. CNN also received the statement from specific official Iranian spokespeople who are known to us. Chairman Carr's attack on CNN that, quote, "Iran put out an official statement that simply cannot be squared with the one CNN's false headline attributes to them," unquote, is quite revealing. But it doesn't reveal anything about CNN. If you've been paying close attention, you know that the Iranian government frequently speaks out of both sides of its mouth. Some faction of the regime will put out a statement that is hardline, propaganda for its base, for want of a better term. A different faction of the regime releases a more measured statement. This is not a bug, it's a feature. It's clearly what happened here. In fact, today, both the Secretary of Defense and Caroline Leavitt alluded to such thing.
What we know is that Iran is going to say a lot of things. A lot of people are going to say a lot of things, claim a lot of things. What has been agreed to, what's been stated, is the strait is open.
What Iran says publicly or feeds to all of you in the press is much different than what they communicate to the United States, the president, and his team privately.
No argument with either of them. The issue boils down to this. The statement from Iran's Supreme National Security Council, which claimed victory for Iran, did not fit the messaging that the Trump administration wanted to project. And instead of calling out the Iranian regime for its conflicting statements or explaining how Iran does this all the time, President Trump attacked CNN by falsely claiming we made it up, by lying to you. We didn't make it up, nor did we present any of Iran's narratives as fact. We simply presented what the statement said in the context of the rest of the war. And that is our job as journalists, to report on what is happening in a war. Our job is not to try and please the president or only report the statements he likes. We're going to tell you what's going on, and we're going to keep doing that no matter how many lies this administration or the Iranians tell. CNN has live team coverage. Clarissa Ward's in the region. She's in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Kristen Holmes is at the White House. Clarissa, what are you seeing in the region now? What are you seeing that could impact the ceasefire?
This morning, the region woke up to a palpable sense of relief, but now there is a growing sense of concern and unease that this ceasefire is looking increasingly fragile. We have seen attacks taking place here in the Gulf. Also, of course, in Lebanon, as you mentioned earlier, Israel launching a devastating series of attacks, more than 100 people killed as a result of them. There had been this back and forth, he said, she said, as to whether Lebanon was part of the ceasefire agreement. The U.S. and Israel has one idea about that. Iran clearly has another. The IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, warning that if those attacks do not stop, that they will be forced to retaliate against the aggressor. So that giving real concerns to another possible escalation. And also, as you mentioned earlier, Iranian state media reporting that the Strait of Hormuz was closed once again after being opened for a brief window earlier due to those Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Now, we also saw a very critical post from a man, Mohammad Ghalibaf. He is Iran's Speaker of the Parliament. He's also the primary interlocutor between the U.S. and Iran, expected to play a prominent role in those face-to-face talks that are still anticipated to take place in Islamabad, Pakistan. And he basically outlined 3 points, Jake, in this post on X, which he said were clear violations of the ceasefire, one of those being Lebanon, another being a drone that flew into Iranian airspace, and the third being Iran's right, or the denial of Iran's right, to continue to enrich uranium. So all of these calling into question whether this ceasefire could be on the rocks, so to speak, Jake.
Kristen, what more did the White House say today about the exact terms of the ceasefire? Have they released on paper this 10-point plan?
No, we haven't seen anything that has any kind of details on what was agreed to. The only thing that we heard about the 10-point plan was really in regards to the statement that you just mentioned. The fact that we had seen this statement come out from the National Security Council in Iran that said that these were some of the 10 points. Carolyn Levitt not specifically addressing that statement, but saying that there was an original 10-point plan that was so laughable that President Trump threw it in the trash can. And then there was a second 10-point plan that was more negotiable. Now, when it comes to Lebanon, that really seems to be the key point here of confusion on both sides. We heard from Carolyn Levitt doubling down that Lebanon was not part of the ceasefire. President Trump said in a brief interview with another outlet that it was not part of the ceasefire. And then this is what J.D. Vance said just now when he was leaving Hungary.
I think this comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states.
Now, of course, again, we haven't seen anything in writing, but I do want to note that after he said that, he added that Israelis have indicated that they may cool it when it comes to what they're doing in Lebanon, but made clear that this is not because it was part of any ceasefire agreement, but instead was because they wanted the negotiations to go well between the U.S. and Iran.
Clarissa Ward in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Kristen Holmes at the White House. Thanks to both of you. The White House says when President Trump launched this war, NATO allies, quote, were tested and failed, unquote. How did that blunt talk go over with NATO? Well, I'm going to ask the head of NATO, fresh off a face-to-face with the president a moment ago. Stay tuned. Plus, how's Congress taking this all in? I'm going to talk with a Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. That's next.
As much as we appreciate what our mechanics can do and who they are, no one looks forward to seeing the inside of an auto shop. Because if you're here, your car is too. And that means something's wrong. And likely it means an expensive repair bill. That is, unless you've called CarShield. When you call CarShield before your car breaks down, they have plans that cover up to 5,000 parts and systems of your car. Don't wait. Call CarShield today before it's too late.
Call 800-788-2415.
In a divided America,
where do I fit?
You tell me, ask your party. Abby Phillip brings all sides to the table.
I hear what you're saying Trump believes in, but do you think it's a good idea?
Newsnight with Abby Phillip, weeknights at 10 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
I wonder why they call it a support beam.
I don't know, but it tastes load-bearing.
Ugh, an organ pro? That's it. I'll never eat here again.
Nope, 1 star. Orkin, the best in pests.
Wow, what is this place?
Honey, you've never heard of The Real Real? It's the destination for authenticated luxury resale. They make it simple to sell what you have so you can shop what you really want.
She's right, you know. I hear all the fashion people love resale.
Can you believe my old owner paid retail for me when she could have just gone to The Real Real?
Well, everyone makes mistakes. I used to date a belt, if you can believe it. Shop and sell with The Real Real, where the fashion speaks for itself. Get $25 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Tonight on 360.
The stories that matter.
This whole area is just engulfed in flames.
From a trusted voice, a fearless eyewitness.
We just got a red alert to go down to the bomb shelter.
Anderson Cooper 360. Weeknights at 8 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
In the beginning, we had to make a choice about who we were and what we wanted.
I'm your sugar daddy now.
But what we didn't realize was how far we were willing to go.
I'm trying to do a good thing!
The city has become a breeding ground for suffering and injustice. It must be destroyed. I think we can help each other.
Someone's gotta step up!
to the root of the problem.
We don't do that.
There's something about this place.
It's really our passion to share what we do with people like you.
Vive la France!
Eva Longoria, Searching for France, Sunday at 9 on CNN and next day on the CNN app.
You think you're something special? There is nothing special about you.
The next time I see you will be in Hogwarts.
Are you really Harry Potter?
CNN This Morning with Audie Cornish. Weekdays at 6 a.m. on CNN.
Back with the breaking news in our world lead. A short time ago, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, addressed public confusion over just what is in this U.S. ceasefire with Iran. What's in the proposal, criticizing the Speaker of Iran's parliament for claiming the U.S. had violated the deal.
I actually wonder how good he is at understanding English, because there are things that he said that frankly didn't make sense in the context of the negotiations that we've had.
Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, are you confident that the U.S. and Iran are on the same page when it comes to the ceasefire?
Well, we obviously aren't, but I'm relieved that the president has this ceasefire, that he didn't follow through on his illegal and immoral threat to wipe Iran off the face of the earth. What we need now is for diplomacy, and we need both the United States and Israel to stop bombing and Iran to stop bombing. I mean, Iran is still hitting Gulf allies. Israel is still hitting Lebanon. All of that needs to stop.
Following President Trump's post on Tuesday when he threatened a whole civilization will die tonight, you were one of many Democrats calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked against President Trump to remove him from office. You said in your video that Congress should convene immediately. What kind of response did you get from Democratic leadership of the House on that?
Well, after we posted our video calling for that, we had almost 70 Democrats, including former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, call for the 25th Amendment. Look, you don't just threaten to exterminate another nation. Ronald Reagan never did that when fighting the Cold War. Richard Nixon, who came up with the madman theory, never did that with Vietnam. It's something that no president in American history has done. And the very threat erodes our moral credibility. It says that America doesn't have any moral standing where we value the dignity of human life, and he should be removed for making that threat. And we don't know if he would make those kind of threats again.
The president, in his Truth Social post about a day ago when he announced the ceasefire, said that it was only because of the threat. He suggested that it was only because of the threat, at least according to the Pakistanis, that Iran agreed to come to the negotiating table.
I mean, that just makes no sense. First of all, let's look at where we are. We used to have $2.30 gas. We now have $4. We now have a more hardline regime in power in Iran, Khamenei Jr. and the IRGC. Iran still has enriched uranium. Iran now has more control over the Strait of Hormuz. So for all the president's bluster, what have we achieved? Yes, we've destroyed Iran's navy, and they have less ballistic missiles, but they still have 1/3 of ballistic missile capability. I think most people think this was not worth 13 Americans dying and the enormous cost. And you certainly didn't need to threaten civilizational extinction to be able to get Iran to the negotiating table. What we should have done is engaged Oman, Pakistan, China, and what we need is statesmanship. But I don't want to be too critical because I don't want to goad the president into getting into war. As long as they're working on a ceasefire and bringing this war to an end, I'll be good to my word. As many others on the armed services and progressives, we will support an end to this war.
What do you say to those supporters of the president who would argue that President Trump's decisive action in Iran both last summer and currently has undoubtedly paralyzed their capabilities of building any sort of nuclear weapon?
Well, first of all, as I mentioned, they still have enriched uranium. I will grant that they destroyed about 2/3 of the ballistic missiles capability in the Navy, but there was no need for a prolonged weeks-long effort aimed at regime change. There was no need to risk 13 service members to do that. There was no need to engage in a tit-for-tat escalation that has led to gas prices increasing and Iran having more control over the Strait of Hormuz. So while I was opposed to the president's initial action a few months ago, where he struck the facilities, at least there could be a debate about that. But this action has left us less safe, has increased the price of gas, and really betrayed his fundamental promise that he wasn't going to try these regime change wars.
Turning to former Attorney General Pam Bondi, you and your Republican colleague, Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina, sent a letter to the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, urging him to publicly reaffirm Bondi's legal obligation to appear for her deposition, which is scheduled for next Tuesday. This is all obviously tied to the Justice Department's handling or mishandling of the Epstein files. How confident are you that Bondi will show up for that deposition, or that Comer would support you in this showdown?
I'm confident Pam Bondi will eventually show up. Nancy Mace and I drafted the subpoena. It was for Pam Bondi as an individual, not Pam Bondi as Attorney General. But they're playing games. But we still have the votes to get her to be able to testify, and we'll have a vote again. Look, I know Jim Comer. I like him on a personal basis, but he was Captain Ahab in chasing Hillary Clinton to testify, and Hillary Clinton's been out of office for 20 years. So certainly he can have Pam Bondi come and testify and answer why they haven't released the Epstein files.
Congressman Ro Khanna, Democrat of California, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks to the fragile ceasefire with Iran, called fragile by the vice president, we saw huge price drops on global oil markets today. But when will you, the American consumer, start seeing lower prices at the pump? That's ahead.
You could spend all day sorting your employees' expenses. Or you could let Ramp do it.
I like that.
Never chase a receipt again. Ramp. Love finance.
This is something that no one would have expected even a few months ago.
There's new drama here on Capitol Hill tonight.
If you received that order, would you have carried it out?
Wouldn't you tell your friends back home I'm joining Border Patrol, or some surprise?
Here are the 5 things you need to know to start your day.
Should kids be allowed on social media?
You know, I think a lot of women right now ask that question.
OMG, they must think we're so dumb that we'll just fly into that bug zapper and die.
Lol, I die.
And now this Orkin Pro? Ew.
Ew.
Let's go, besties. Who was that?
Smells like Ashley. Sad. R.I.P. girl.
Orkin, the best in pests.
The SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament is coming, and it's only on Prime.
Welcome to the game!
From the opening tip to the final buzzer. Watch all 6 games exclusively on Prime. It's win to get in.
Oh, yes!
As teams take their final shot to make the NBA playoffs.
Big finish!
The SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament begins April 14th, only on Prime.
Taxes was so taxing.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only, roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is taxes, file for free and get the most money back. Guaranteed.
Don't miss the deadline. File by 4/15.
Whether it's your future health, your future income, or your future happiness, becoming an AARP member today can help. Join now for just $15 for your first year with automatic renewal and get a second membership free. Plus, you'll receive an insulated trunk organizer. Call or go online to join today, because the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
All right, so that's one pair of glasses. Yep. With prescription lenses, plus anti-reflective lens coating.
Oh.
Scratch-resistant coating.
Did I choose?
UV protection. Award-winning customer service.
That's me.
That's also me. Free returns, free exchanges, and free frame adjustments for life.
And how much more is that?
Oh, it's all included at Warby Parker.
So my glasses
Are still just $95.
Oh.
Surprise! I just get excited.
The Harry Potter stories are this extraordinary phenomenon.
And action.
To be able to build at a scale like this, it's just a designer's dream.
Walking in and seeing the real train, you imagine yourself being a kid at Hogwarts.
You wait forever to do something that means that much to people.
Doesn't get much bigger than playing in a World Cup on home soil.
The scale of this opportunity, it's hard to grasp.
For the first time in 50 years, a team of astronauts will take a giant leap for mankind as they embark on a historic journey around the moon. A CNN special event, Mission to the Moon, Artemis 2 launch. Get complete coverage on the CNN app.
In our money lead, the White House says Iran has privately committed to keeping the Strait of Hormuz open, but according to Iranian media, only 2 oil tankers have successfully crossed the crucial waterway since President Trump agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with Iran. The White House says not to believe Iranian media on this matter. Despite oil prices plummeting and stocks surging, gas prices in the U.S. continue to trend upward, with the national average increasing to $4.16 per gallon. So what does this ceasefire mean for your wallet? Let's bring in Tom Closa, the chief energy advisor at Gulf. So Tom, assuming the ceasefire holds, when might Americans see lower prices at the pump?
You might see lower prices on the weekend, and particularly if you patronize the big box stores. But a typical gasoline retailer moves about 8,000 gallons a month, which means he buys a truckload of fuel like every 4 days. So it's going to take some time. And I would emphasize these are really baby steps right now. There's no real indication that the strait is going to reopen. And it seems like a flimsy ceasefire, to say what's obvious.
Yeah, the vice president called it fragile. What is the feeling among people who send oil through these straits about whether or not it's safe to send the tankers through?
I think right now they would be very reluctant to do so. And it looks as though we're weeks away from any restoration of even 50% or 70% of the Strait of Hormuz traffic that we depend on. The price of oil is much higher than what you hear when you hear it quoted on the futures market. It's about $96.50 as you and I are talking here. But if you go to the world markets where they actually buy it physically, it's about $20 higher. So we're going to be dealing with this for a while, maybe for a good percentage of the baseball season.
I've heard a lot of different conflicting messages about the status of the strait. One of the questions, I think, is whether or not Iran is going to be able to charge a toll, whether or not Iran will be in control of the strait. There was even some talk, I believe, from the president about the U.S. and Iran going into some sort of partnership where they both charge a toll. Do you have any sort of understanding of what the status of that is?
Jake, everybody is making this up as we go along. I mean, it almost sounds like this could be an easy pass system to go, vacate the strait. And for now, we're not seeing any additional tankers go through there. And there was the threat today of, attacks on what had been an outlet where they were moving crude, the Saudis were, through an east-west pipeline to the Red Sea. That got attacked earlier today. And there was also an attack on a Saudi processing station that moves about 5 million barrels a day of crude. So this is a tough one to call. This could be a one-off today with this big drop. I'm not sure if we're going to see follow through in the next few days.
The White House said that reports that ships were generally not being able to sail through the Strait of Hormuz, that wasn't true. But you're saying it is true. ships are not able to sail through?
Yeah, I think you need to probably talk to the people at Lloyd's of London or companies like that to find out. But we're certainly not seeing the evidence of more crude oil departing the Strait of Hormuz. And we're talking about a vast amount of oil. We're talking about 14, 15 million barrels of crude. For now, there's just a trickle that's leaving the region. So that has left Asia and Africa and Australia in a mess. And some of that mess has come, to the Pacific coast of the United States as well.
Tom Closa, thank you so much, as always, for your insights. Appreciate it. Coming up, a doctor who practiced in a rural area of South Texas where health care is hard to come by. How that doctor ended up in the custody of immigration officials. It's another story in Trump's immigration crackdown. That's next.
It is the stretch run on TNT.
The push for the playoffs, it's all about getting in. Once you're in, you never know what's going to happen. Give yourself every opportunity to compete for the Stanley Cup.
The rush to the playoffs on TNT.
In our national lead, Trump's immigration crackdown is pushing some foreign-born doctors out of jobs in areas where they're critically needed by the community. This includes Dr. Ezekiel Veliz, born in Venezuela. He started his residency in an underserved area of South Texas. When the Trump administration stripped deportation protections for Venezuelans last year, Dr. Veliz was left without legal status to work, and he lost his job. And on Monday, with Dr. Veliz still waiting on his visa approval, Trump administration authorities detained him at a Border Patrol checkpoint. CNN has reached out to ICE and the Department of Homeland Security. We have yet to receive a response. Joseph Williams is Dr. Veliz's husband and was in the car when Dr. Veliz was detained. And Joseph, thanks for joining us about this horrible story. You spoke with Ezekiel this morning. He's at a detention center in Texas. How's he doing?
He's doing good. He said the conditions aren't ideal, but I guess it's expected. He said it's very gloom there. He's sleeping on the floor with a little foil. He said, he referred to it as a blanket, but he said it looks like foil. But he's in good spirits overall.
Walk us through what happened Monday night.
Monday, we just thought it was gonna be a routine move, honestly. We joked lightheartedly on the way there. He's like, "Oh, maybe he goes, don't be surprised if I get detained." I'm like, "You'll be fine." But sure enough, we get there. They ask if we're citizens. He responded. He was in the passenger side. He responded. He goes, "He is. My husband is, but I am not. I'm in process. I have a work visa in place right now, but I'm just pending because of the hold." And the guy was like, "Well, where's your visa?" And he's like, "Well, I told you." So he said, "Well, do you have any documentation?" So he hands over some papers. The ICE asked us to pull up and pull to the side so they could further interrogate him. They approach the vehicle. They ask him to get out. They take him inside. I wait patiently. About 45 minutes go by. I was like, "What is going on?" I see so many cars come up behind me and leave. I was like, "Hey," and I put my hands up. I'm like, "Hey, I'm just curious on what's happening with my husband. I don't understand what's taking so long." They're like, "I'll have a supervisor come talk to you." I'm like, "Okay, great." I'm like, "Please return to your vehicle." I'm like, "Will do." So I get out of the vehicle, I approach. They're like, they ask me, and like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "I don't mean to be a bother, but I'm just really just trying to get what's going on with my husband. Like, any information would be helpful." It's like, "Okay, I'll reach out to my supervisor. Please remain in the vehicle. Someone will come to you when they have a chance." I'm like, "Okay." So I waited another 2 more hours. Ezekiel actually approaches. I got excited. I'm like, "Hey," I'm like, "Are we ready?" And I can tell that he's visibly upset. And he's like, "No, they're detaining me." He's used some profanity. He's like, "They're detaining me. They say I overstayed my visa, which is impossible because I was in school at the time on my visa." He goes, "I filed all the paperwork. It's not my fault that the government has a pause on hold." We open up the back of the truck. He tries to grab a box full of papers. And the agent was like, "Sir, that is way too much. You cannot bring that inside." And he's like, "Why? I just want my paperwork. You're saying that I'm here illegally. I want to show you proof that I'm not." I was like, "I'll grab the papers that you have in the car." So I grabbed the papers that were in the car. I hand them to him. I give him, a hug and a kiss. And he's like, "Please call my lawyer. Please call my friend Genesis. This cannot be happening. Please, please, please." And then they escort him away. But he's doing well. Like I said, I talked to him this morning. So I'm happy that he's okay. The lawyer said they can't do anything until he's uploading the system, and I don't know what's taking so long for him to get uploaded into the system for the database. So right now it's like our hands are tied. So I can't do anything until he's entered into the system.
Well,
unfortunately.
Stay in touch with our team. Joseph Williams, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
Politics Lead next. We're going to zero in on that special election in Georgia to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, how the results in that race could set a tone for the upcoming midterm elections, now less than 8 months away.
Hey. Hi. Could you please submit your expenses today? Do you have those expense reports? Hi. Can you submit those receipts?
Never chase a receipt again. Ram. Love finance.
Explore CNN podcasts for your daily dose of news, culture, and smart storytelling. And discover the conversations shaping our world. Follow and listen to CNN podcasts wherever you get your podcasts.
Every weeknight, we cover it all. From legal battles, at least one juror has now been excused, to political showdowns. How much you think that weighs on the president, and all the conversations in between? Wayne from Washington. Wayne, what's your question? Will you take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
I'm not refuting a syllable of what you said.
What do you say to people who are looking to find their voice?
All the news. Laura Coates Live. Weeknights at 11 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
Introducing All There Is Live, where I talk to others about grief and loss, and you can join the conversation too.
Now streaming at cnn.com/allthereis.
Homecoming, the Tokyo series, now streaming on the CNN app.
We start with breaking news on several fronts.
Want to know what I'm thinking about?
Let us break it down.
The Situation Room, weekday mornings at 10 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump play any role in your decision to resign? It sounds like you have the facts on your fingertips.
There really is much more that unites us than that which divides us.
Watch The Lead, weekdays at 5 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
Do you want to live forever? I've got just the thing. Oh my God. Just a little shot. You need the Botox. Never happening. Use a red light and look 35 again.
I feel like I'm in an air fryer.
Should we believe any of this stuff? Is it science or snake oil? That's what I'm going to find out.
Kara Swisher Wants to Live Forever. Saturday on CNN and next day on the CNN app.
The Source with Caitlin Collins. Weeknights at 9 on CNN and watch on the CNN app.
Well, here I am. Sitcoms are making a comeback. I knew they would. I'm executive producer now, and we've got work to do. What's fun about this to you?
Don't look at your phone to see what other people think about it.
Okay. I looked. Ow. I know.
I have been told that I cannot perform one single joke or I will go to jail.
What's the hair?
You are going to be remembered for comedy. When you're away from the spotlight, you have time to think about what really matters.
Oh, that!
The spotlight!
God, I am glad to be there!
Grief isn't talked about much, but that's what my podcast is all about. Join me and my guests for a new season with new conversations about loss, life, and love.
All There Is with Anderson Cooper. Listen at cnn.com/allthereis.
We're back with the politics lead and House Republicans padding their ever so slim majority. They now have a 4-seat advantage after yesterday's special election. Republican Clay Fuller, as expected, will replace former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia's 14th congressional district. That's along the state's northwestern border with Alabama. It's rather rural, heavily Republican, but given politics these days, Democrats hoped they could pull off an upset. They did not, but there is good news for them there. We'll tell you about that in a sec. They have similar hopes in rural North Carolina. Many voters there feel the Republican Party has just simply let them down, especially after the aftermath of Hurricane Helene in 2024. But there's a list of other complaints. CNN's John King heard out those complaints in his latest chapter of his series, All Over the Map.
Marshall is along the French Broad River in North Carolina's 11th congressional district. Hurricane Helene's floodwaters rose above this bridge and pummeled the town. Sounds and signs of progress, but also lingering scars, lingering frustration.
It still feels slow. It still feels like we haven't seen the government step in ways that are meaningful.
Tourism is the economy here.
Right.
Lean back, you're good to go.
See ya. Corey Hampton's outdoor adventure company saw sales drop 40% last summer.
Barefoot guide.
Hikers and campers, rafters and zipliners thought it best, or safest, to stay away.
We all knew that that first season after the storm was going to be difficult, but we're hoping that this is the turning point for us.
But now, a new worry.
That folks are just not going to be as willing to travel. And on top of everything else that's happened to us.
You drive a lot if you live in a rural place like Marshall. The price of gas matters, especially if things are already tight.
It's just terrifying, you know. We're helping 100 of our staff put food on the table.
They say looks can be deceiving, and they say one picture is worth 1,000 words. So which is this? A recent Monday night in tiny Marshall, a packed fish fry for a local farmer running for Congress. Madison County voted 61% for Trump. Jamie Yeager is a Democrat.
We're all thinking about our garden this spring, which is something that Mountain Democrats do, is grow a garden.
Josh Kopis owns this hotel and restaurant. He went to college with Yeager, works his real magic in a ceramic studio on the outskirts of town.
Why do Democrats struggle so much here?
I think we lost our way. I don't know. Like, we got caught up doing something that didn't connect with the people in rural America.
John, let's go back to that the Georgia election, a little south of North Carolina. The Republican won. But explain why Democrats are also feeling like they had a good night.
Because of the margin, Jake, and not just in this race, but we can show you this has been happening throughout 2025 and now 2026. Here's the race. You mentioned Clayton Fuller will soon be a Republican congressman. He won the race. You say 56-44. Wow, that's a big win. What are Democrats to be excited about? How could Democrats possibly be excited about this? Well, this is the district Marjorie Taylor Greene won back in 2024 by a 29-point margin. So margins matter. What does that tell you? Republicans aren't showing up. Democrats are showing up, even in rural red areas. So why does that matter going forward? Well, you pull out the map and you look at 2024. We were just in North Carolina, right? So you come into North Carolina. We're out in this district right out here. Chet Edwards, he won it pretty handily last time. But look at that margin, right? So if the Democrats overperform there, Chuck Edwards would be in trouble. So we'll see how that goes. There, you come to other races as well. Tennessee, we've talked about that race before. This is the easiest way to show it to you. Democrats are simply overperforming. They have been throughout 2025 and 2026. The Virginia governor's race, Harris carried the state by 6. The governor won by 16. Harris carried New Jersey by 6. The governor won by 14. In Tennessee's special election, Mark Green had won by 22 points. The Republican who replaced him won only by 9. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, again, she won by 29. The Republican replacing her only by 12. So if you are a strategist, you see Democrats are coming out to vote. It's an anti-Trump vote. And a lot of Republicans have, for whatever reason, a reason to stay home. So Republicans at the moment have an enthusiasm and a turnout problem.
Interesting stuff. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Adrian Elrod and Republican strategist Ashley Davis, who has a brand new book out. It's called The Power Pivot with Grit, Grace, and Growth. Congratulations so much on this book.
Thank you. I need to write 7 more to keep up with you, I guess. But no. I love these graphics. I need to take them with me somehow.
You can have them. You can have them. I can't wait to read it. I just got a copy right this second. What do you make of the results in Georgia last night? Obviously, Republicans won. Your party won, but the margins are getting slimmer.
Yeah, and look, listen, when the president wins by 25 points and this person wins by 12, that's obviously not a good sign. But I think midterm elections, there's much more excitement on the opposite party side. The Democrats have tons of excitement right now. I think the key is going to be when we get out of these specials and get into the president unleashing his $300 million after Memorial Day. When he was just covering North Carolina and you look at some of those comments, that's why John Thune just put $71 million into North Carolina's Senate race. So I do think that a lot of this money is going to unleash soon. But listen, you guys have the excitement.
Yeah.
And the drive.
We do. We finally have some excitement on our side.
And so, just looking forward to November, I'm looking at the piece John just did on rural North Carolina, and I'm not thinking about the House race there. I'm thinking about the Senate race there.
Absolutely.
Roy Cooper in a very competitive race, and I'm not thinking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat as a potential Democratic pickup as much as I'm thinking, what does that mean for John Ossoff, the Democrat running for re-election in Georgia?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, first of all, in terms of pickup opportunities, it is widely considered that North Carolina is going to be Democrats' #1 shot at flipping a Senate seat. But I think there's also a number of other races that we're going to flip, too, for the very reasons that John laid out in his piece, which is, #1, rural voters who largely went for Trump in 2024 and even for Trump in 2020 are seeing their gas prices go up. You know, we live here in the Beltway where we might drive 5 or 6 miles a day. A lot of these folks in America are driving 30, 40 miles a day. So they are really feeling that.
And they're driving diesel, too.
And they're driving diesel, which is substantially higher than regular gas. So they're feeling this impact. They trusted Trump to lower prices for them. They're not seeing that happen, #1. You know, secondly, Democrats, you were seeing this play out in the poll results. I mean, Democrats have flipped 30 state legislative seats. Some of these we don't always talk about on TV because they're happening in, you know, smaller electorates across the country. But we have flipped 30 legislative seats since the presidential election in 2024, which does show that the momentum is on the Democratic side. And it's not necessarily because people are saying, yay, I love what Democrats are talking about. They're just incredibly frustrated with Trump and his lack of ability to actually address the issues that matter to American families.
Is that what you're hearing out there?
That is a critically important point. Democrats have not solved their problems. That will be 2027 and 2028. But this election is about Trump. Midterms are always about the incumbent. And they're always about how do you feel right now and who do you take that out on. So if you're mad about the price of gas, if you're mad the price of groceries, it's come down. Some inflation is down some under Trump, but it's not down enough for people, especially because he promised he would do it like that. He said it would be easy. And it's not. So to your driving point, if you live in New York City, you drive on average $9,000, $10,000 a year, to 10,000 miles a year. You live in Madison County, North Carolina, you're driving 18,000 miles a year. And if you have a farm, you have equipment that all takes diesel. And so it's the cumulative effect. You also probably live in a place where a lot of the working class people get their health care through the ACA, through Obamacare.
Right.
And the president said they would find a new plan to replace those subsidies, and they haven't.
Well, he said that in 2017 also.
Yeah, so it's a cumulative thing. The affordability thing, at any moment, today it's gas. You drive by that thing every day. You see that it's gone up $1.18 in the last month. But for working families who racked up credit card debt, maybe under Joe Biden, that might not be Trump's fault, but they can't pay that debt off. The groceries haven't gone down. Their health care has gone up. Now gas is going up. They're not tired of winning. They're tired of being tired.
So Ashley,
it's eggs and beef from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Those prices that are, you know, still not down as much as they should be. But other examples.
Ashley, take a look at all the House special elections since Trump took back the White House. Democrats have been cutting into Trump's 2024 margins, overperforming in districts that Kamala Harris won. The chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Ken Martin, posted last night, quote, "We're closing the gap and Republicans are absolutely terrified." You talk to Republicans all the time. Are Republicans terrified?
I don't know if terrified, but I think that you can't look at this. I talked to a bunch of people today knowing, you know, what happened last night. And I think publicly they are waiting to see how the president helps with now when he gets on the campaign trail. Remember, this was supposed to start in January, that he was supposed to be on every week. That's going to be the biggest concern, I feel, for us Republicans, is Trump gets people off the couch to vote, and him not being on the ticket is going to be an issue.
And John, a Democratic momentum, perhaps, in the Democratic state, or in the swing state, rather, of Wisconsin. Chris Taylor, a liberal appeals court judge, won a seat on her state's Supreme Court. They have elections for the state Supreme Court there. What is notable, if anything, about her win?
Well, it was by twice the margin of the last state Supreme Court election won by the Democrats. So again, you're seeing the enthusiasm, the huge enthusiasm gap. That's a state Trump won by 1 point, a little less than 1 point. And so you have a Democrat winning. It's a state Supreme Court race is not a presidential race. This year, it's not a presidential year. I get all that. But you just showed that chart. Republicans keep saying it's a special, it's a special, it's a special. But they're everywhere. Right. They're in Mississippi, they're in Pennsylvania, they're in Wisconsin, they're in Texas, and the Democrats are winning, period. You want to be the side that's winning. The other thing about Wisconsin is the Waukesha mayor. That is a red-leaning suburbs. It is the suburbs that revolted against Trump in the 2018 midterms and made Nancy Pelosi speaker. If the Republicans are losing in Waukesha, if you're Brian Fitzpatrick in Buck County, Pennsylvania, you woke up today calling your team saying, holy, let's fix this.
Well, outside Philly, they actually say the word. Adrian, so John alluded to this. Despite the gains the Democrats are clearly making at the polls, here's a CNN poll. Democrats faced a favorability gap compared to Republicans. Republican Party, 32% favorable, 55% unfavorable. Democratic Party, less, 28% favorable, and more, 56% unfavorably. Democrats are not popular either.
We got some work to do, but look, John just alluded to this. I mean, I think once Democrats have some power back at the federal level, once we get into the 27, 28 primaries for the 28 presidential campaign, we've got a lot of incredible people running, or who I think are going to run, including a lot of really dynamic governors. The leaders of the party, the shape of the party is going to really start to form after we get some power back. And we have every reason to believe that that's going to happen based on these numbers.
We will see. And again, the book, The Power Pivot by Ashley Davis, it's available now. Check it out. Thanks to all. Appreciate it. As the ceasefire talks progress between the U.S. and Iran, sources tell CNN that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did not know which path President Trump would take. Brand new reporting just in from our team in Israel, where we're going to go live to Tel Aviv next.
I have been told that I cannot perform one single joke or I will go to jail.
What's the hair?
You are going to be remembered for comedy. When you're away from the spotlight, you have time to think about what really matters.
Oh, yeah.
The spotlight!
God, I am glad to be
Join us in a celebration of absolute chaos. Let's get to work.
Hey, Rooster!
The kids call you Rooster?
They think I'm like my character.
Nice washboard. This is college. You can be the rooster if you want.
Cock a doodle doo.
This is the work of a cold, calculating assassin.
In a competition like this, every chef is swinging for the fences.
This is the best lineup of bakers I have ever seen.
All new, The Ultimate Baking Championship, Monday at 9 on Food Network.
The story is wacky, it's kooky, it's zany.
Tackling the biggest issues.
More terror.
Adult diaper penis injections.
Asking the hardest questions.
Do I have dementia or does he?
That's why you watch this show.
This crew is delivering the hottest take on the news of the week.
You've got $200 billion of tariff money. My suggestion, reparations. In the form of a Costco card.
Have I Got News for You, now streaming on the CNN app.
The Harry Potter stories are this extraordinary phenomenon.
And action.
To be able to build at a scale like this, it's just a designer's dream.
Walking in and seeing the real train, you imagine yourself being a kid at Hogwarts.
You wait forever to do something that means that much to people.
Sitcoms are making a comeback. Knew they would. We've got work to do.
Don't look at your phone to see what people think.
I looked. I know.
In the beginning, we had to make a choice. But what we didn't realize was how far we were willing to go.
There's competition on the court and a different game on the sidelines. Go inside one of the biggest gambling scandals, Money Madness, college basketball at a crossroads. Now streaming on the CNN app.
The relationship between the FBI director and the president has always been complicated.
No one is above the law in the FBI's eyes.
Standoff, the FBI, Power and Paranoia, now streaming on the CNN app.
How's your shift going? It's been a lot.
Charge clear.
We're going to take care of you.
This is what we do. Join us in a celebration of absolute chaos. Let's get to work.
Doesn't get much bigger than playing in a World Cup on home soil.
The scale of this opportunity, it's hard to grasp.